For a very short musical break, and we're going to bring Sara Hickman up now. So while Sara comes up and we get all the instrumentation set up, the wires, we trip around up here, we're going to hear a little music that is picked by Eli down at the WLUW studios.
I'm not sure about that. We are back. Thank you so much, Eli. It's live from the Heartland time again every Saturday morning. This is the September 10th edition, and I just want to acknowledge that whether we wanted to or not, we've all been brought into considering the anniversary, the terrible anniversary, which is tomorrow, 10 years since the 9/11 events in 2001, and everything that's happened since. And in talking with Ann Elizabeth just now and talking about freedom of the press, we've lost a lot of that in the last 10 years. We've lost and gained certain things. We know that we had leadership at that time that sort of blew their chance. But if we can recall the way we all felt that day and in the first few days afterwards, it was a very different feeling than what we have now in America and across the planet. And maybe it's time for us to direct things a little more closely than just pulling a lever on the ballot, and maybe it's time for us to inhabit our best selves, both nationally and globally. So, okay.
Thanks, Kate.
Well, wait, before you say anything more, I just want to say, driving through Chicago on the way over to the Heartland Cafe, there's a long boulevard. Is it Devon?
That's one of them.
I don't know if it was that one, but what struck me was how it was going from a Jewish neighborhood into an Arabic Muslim neighborhood, into a Hispanic culture, into, I mean, all these cultures lined up, and I thought, do they have a parade every year where all the cultures come together? Because that's the world right there. It was so beautiful seeing all these fundamental Jews, not fundamental, how do I say that?
Orthodox.
Orthodox, thank you. Jews going to Sabbath this morning, and then seeing Muslims on the street too. And I just thought, look at that. Everybody's living peacefully
It's really
together.
wonderful over there. I mean, it's like, you know, Indians and Pakistanis and Palestinians and Jews, everyone living in that neighborhood getting along. It's really an example to the world. And I think there are a number of neighborhoods in Chicago where we have large concentrations of different racial, ethnic, religious groups that get along fine together. And that's why we really are inspired living here, and we think what we build in Chicago will emanate out throughout the land and beyond.
Nice self-introduction there, Sara. The woman who just described her ride to the Heartland this morning is Sara Hickman, an incredible performer who gave such a great show last night.
I was inspired by your smile. I just couldn't. I'd look over there and you were dancing. I was like, I've got to do one more, even better song for you.
Dang, girl, you rock. You rock, and you had great fans here.
I know everybody was. Well, you know what I like.
You were pitting table 70 against table 20, and they totally rose to the occasion.
They
Little
did.
Red Wagon. Oh my goodness.
Well, and it was fun then to let the middle section feel like, hey, we can be empowered too. You know.
Yeah.
And the best part about being a performer, you know, the gentleman talking earlier about theater, and then Anne Elizabeth talking about using zines as a way of communication, and being on stage of any sort, whether you're a poetry slammer or a songwriter like myself, is watching complete strangers become this web, this connection of family, even if it's only for a couple of hours. That is the biggest high, is to let people know that you're not alone, that we are connected, and that's the beautiful thing about the arts.
How about we have Sara do a song to give the vibe to everybody, and then we'll ask her a lot of questions about her. She does a lot of stuff.
She does.
I do. And you know, you were talking about 9/11 tomorrow. And this in some way, this is upright. You know, it goes this way.
Upside down.
Yeah. See, it's upside down.
That's right. You're on your. All right.
Yeah, I know. It looks better that way. It's more intriguing, but everybody does do it the other way. But that's okay. I forgive you because you're my new friend.
And you out in Radio Land must be wondering what the heck we're talking about.
Michael just stood on his head and did this beautiful yoga exercise.
Yeah. And he's going to do it.
There was a time.
We're all immolating.
And he's going to do it throughout the entire number.
He has a plethora of different types of yoga.
Better than a dearth, baby.
Well, speaking of dearth, I'm about to go into a dirge, which is probably not the best way to start the morning, but the emotional
I know it's not the way we'll finish it.
No. You know, you're speaking of 9/11, and I don't have a song in conjunction with that, but I have several songs in conjunction with violence and how we overcome that. And I'm going to try my best here at 9:30 in the morning to sing this song I wrote in conjunction with Virginia Tech. And I wrote it because I was watching that violence unfold, and I was horror-struck, as everybody was. And I couldn't find the song. I kept thinking, there is no song out of this. And then a few days later, I heard two women talking about Cho's mother, Cho being the young man that killed everyone and then killed himself. And they were talking about how the mother of Cho had had a nervous breakdown, had felt a lot of hatred from society. And that's where it hooked me that I'm a mom, and I have children, and if some sort of violence came from my offspring, and then I got this phone call about the crime they had committed, and that they'd killed themselves, and I couldn't even hold my child again, that sort of isolation you would feel. So this is a song that came to me through Cho's mother, in a sense. I try to channel her sorrow, which is nothing against all the other families who suffered from Cho's violence. But I just thought her story was the least to be told. So. No flowers for his funeral, no one here on the phone. Invisible here, I am living in fear, I am broken and alone. The burden of my broken heart can never be repaired. Know the loss and anguish others feel, and the other mothers share. I'm not sure what went wrong. Was it something I said? These words keep spinning through my soul, and I'm not sure what I could have done. I cannot find the words. His eyes were dark, he seldom cried, but we told him he was good.
from this evil ghost I bear. He will always be remembered as the one who held the gun, but to me he was my son. My feet have grown so heavy, and they are sodden from my tears, lost in the loss of reason that was lost within his years. And I fear that I will go insane from this evil ghost I bear. He will always be remembered as the one who held the gun, but to me he was my son. He will always be the one.
Wow. Sara Hickman. Well, I'm not sure how to follow that one, but Sara, how about telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're from? You're out of Texas.
Well, that's true. I grew up in DeKalb my first 6 years.
All right.
nice.
Corn-fed.
And then I moved to Texas, Houston, Texas, where my dad was a professor at the University of Houston in art for 40 years. And my mom was a fiber artist, as we know, called weavers, but she likes me to refer to her as a fiber artist. And it was a totally suburban lifestyle, and I was the first kid in my school, I believe, and the only girl to play guitar. So I won my first talent show at 7, singing a song about the bald eagle. And
the
then,
Daughters of the American
yes,
Revolution.
that's right. And $25 in my pocket to pay for their sins. Now,
Nice.
then I moved on to high school, where I went to Performing Arts High School for vocals, and then I went to college for art. And I graduated, and I thought I was going to be an art director for Hallmark, but I had been singing all these years to make money for my art supplies, and I got signed to Elektra Records. And then it was, limousines and VH1 and more men than any woman could handle, really.
What a wonderful gal.
All right.
So there was a story connected to Elektra Records. They attempted to hold your album, and you ended up buying it back with a great fan base.
That's true, and that's called Necessary Angels. And I got to work with some great people on that: Angelo Badalamenti, Paul Fox, and myself producing. And what happened was the president of Elektra felt like it wasn't radio worthy, so I got dropped, and that was a real shock to my emotional and artistic system.
How long ago did that happen?
Oh, eons ago, 1927. And so my mom had this
Time
great
travel.
idea before your time. And my mom said, well, why don't you get your fans to buy the masters back? Because they told me I couldn't re-record the songs for 5 years. And I was
like this
Mom,
fiber artist.
and I was like, Mom, they want $300,000 or whatever it is. And she was like, oh, you can do that. Just talk to your fans and friends. And so this was back in the times when I love the Postal Service, by the way. And I had to write a newsletter and mail it out to everyone. And I asked people to donate $100, and they would get this blue aluminum bracelet that said Necessary Angel, all numbered. And so my fans and my friends and family all pitched in. I sold my house and my antique salt and pepper shaker collection. And
of course you did. You gave it all, Sara. You gave it all.
I did. And, the amazing thing was we bought the album back. We got it down to to, I think, $50,000, I called the head of Elektra.
And Elektra finally said, "Here, take it.
For God's sake, leave us alone, you and your mob." And it was the first flash mob, actually. We showed up at Rockefeller Center. No. So, yeah, I got the CD back, and then I did several more. I actually went back into the WIA system, so I knew all the same friends, and I like to say family within WIA, and got the same distribution. And then after a couple of indie labels that were also wonderful, I just decided about 15 years ago to go solo. I realized what the internet was going, where it was going, and that I could have self-production and put things out myself. And I've been blessed to have a fan base that's followed me since 1927. So, you know, and now their kids and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren are buying my CDs, so I could not be happier.
Wow, I've stepped into a fantasy thing.
I'd like to thank Oil of Olay here for all their, you know, consistent support of my skin.
Jeez.
Well, you have an album that just came out. It's a double.
Yes.
And it's your songs performed by Texas artists from the beloved Willie Nelson. Who's
Yay,
in
Willie.
the grip of the IRS, I'm sure. And then also Marcia Ball, I saw, who used to play around here. And,
oh, she's amazing.
She used to eat here whenever she was in town.
And she has 8-foot-long legs. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
she's amazing.
Yes.
So tell us about that album, because my understanding is that you put the album out and people came to support you and sing on it.
Wait, shh. Let me help you. Shh.
Okay, you're going to tell me the story. I'm going to keep talking if she keeps her finger on my lips. Okay.
Okay. That's why you have guests, though, right?
So
we
glad
can
that
battle
you're on
on.
radio.
So, anyway,
I'm going to put that on. Get that for my Facebook page.
I'll never wash this finger again. So,
This is getting too weird.
That's
Even
the
for
artistic way. So I was nominated, and then I became the official state musician of Texas for 2010, 2011, following Willie Nelson, and I just handed the torch to Lyle Lovett. As Lyle likes to say, I'm a Sarah
good
Sandwich.
Company.
Yeah, it is good company. So anyway, during my tenure, I asked the legislators who had put me into this office, well, what am I supposed to do? And they said, you don't have to do anything, and there's no money. And I was like, well, okay, well, I'd like to be productive with this moniker. So I asked all these musicians around Texas if they would support this cause, which is to sing one of my songs, and all the proceeds from the album would go to Theater Action Project, which you can buy the CD at www.bestoftimecd.com. And all the money goes to Theater Action Project, which takes art, theater, music back into the schools, because the legislature had cut the funding.
That's
so,
the way I've been billing it. Is,
yes.
Yeah, that Rick Perry guy and the rest of the Republican-dominated legislature, they cut all the funding to the school.
Well, I do have to give credit to the final vote for me to become the official state musician was a Republican who loved all the community service I do. So, you know, I have to say not all. I hate this whole, like, blue and red and Republicans and
Yeah, I like that.
Because people are very complex, and there's goodness in most people, and I try to reflect on that. Like even the song I started with, you know, Cho's mother is good, and she grew up thinking she had a son that was kind and loving, and this horrible act happened. So anyway,
wait a minute, repeat that website, www.bestoftimescd.com.
And you can buy it there. You can download it or buy physical CDs on Amazon.com.
See, I mean, that is something that not just your governor did, every governor, every city mayor. The arts have disappeared from public education.
I think it's up to artists and musicians and poets and dancers, all of us.
And
in the arts are always the ones, yes, the audiences, of course, are the ones that help keep the movement going. And we recognize how children learning to express themselves through the art helps them, of course, with math and writing. But it's a release for children, and it helps them become productive members of society.
Helps them be who they are.
So I just want to say that you did mention some of the artists. There is Willie Nelson, Marcia Ball, Sean Colvin, Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians, Rhett Miller from the old 97s. I mean, there's 38 musicians who gave their time.
Yeah, it's impressive. I actually have a copy of it.
You do?
Yeah, well, whoever your agent guy was that booked this show, he sent me a copy, and I want to thank him very much, and I'm going to put it on the Heartland Jukebox.
Yay! Yay! Thank
Absolutely.
you
We also
so
want
much.
to steal this and put this on too.
Yeah, put it on upside right though.
I will, I promise.
That way.
I like
How about, Sarah, you do another song for us?
I'd love to. I'll
That
do
would be
something
great.
perky.
For all
All
of
right.
you out there, this is live from the Heartland on WLUW 88.7 FM on your dial. We're here every Saturday morning on Chicago Sound Alliance. We have one final guest on our show today, so stick around for Paul Durica, whose claim to fame is Pocket Guide to Hell. We'll be talking to him in a minute or two after Sara Hickman.
Okay, Angel's going to turn up my guitar. So I think I will sing this little happy ditty. It's just a happy, upbeat love song, really. But I wrote it for you, Michael. Surprise.
You're my favorite artist.
I'm going to move back now.
No one knows for certain what's behind the curtain of their dreams. We question, we ponder, we yodel and we wonder, is life everything it seems? We are thinking you're driving. I warn you should never think and drive. Still you mix it up inside, letting your spirit run and hide. But look now we've arrived, and I'm a tripping, I'm falling, I'm hearing you, your voice, your calling, I'm laughing, I'm sleeping, I'm tapping toes to the heartbeat close to mine. Feels like 2 days today. Ba, 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 da, ba, da, ba, da, da. One day's ending, one day's beginning, spinning, always shining, hopping, skipping, left to right, day and night. Two wrongs sometimes make everything seem alright, 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 alright. Yesterday's still today. Tomorrow never really comes. Oh, but you wrestle with the demon, squeeze the sugar from the lemon. Till there's too much left to be undone. Oh, well, I'm a tripping, I'm falling, I'm hearing you, your voice, you darling. I'm laughing, I'm sleeping, I'm tapping toes to the heartbeat close to mine. Feels like 2 days today. Do you whistle while you work? Do you ever feel the jerk? Do you ever want to run outside? Do you need to take a break to shake your attic of mistakes? Let your fingers do the walk and let them slide. See the clouds up ahead, jumping naked on your bed. Let your fingers do it all. Blah, 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 blah. Let them fly. Tripping, I'm falling, I'm hearing you, your voice, you're calling, I'm laughing, I'm sleeping, I'm tapping toes to the heartbeat close to mine. Feels like 2 days today. Ba, 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 da, 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 da.
Nice. Woo. We're going to keep you right here so that you can sing a song as we go out with the show.
Oh gosh, did I knock off your fourth guest?
No, but he's right here.
Yay!
Hello.
Hey there,
Hey,
Paul.
Paul.
Hey.
Paul Durica, Pocket Guide to Hell. Where'd the title come from, dude?
Okay, so
Sorry, welcome.
I know. Thank you. So back in the early 1900s, there was this British labor leader named John Burns who came to the city of Chicago. Surveying the scene, he looked at the poor working conditions, all the poverty, political corruption. He was being interviewed by this journalist, and he said, you know, I think Chicago is a pocket edition of hell. Right?
Gee whiz.
Yeah. Well, a week later, the same journalist decides to re-interview Mr. Burns and see if after spending some more time in the city, if he's amended his opinion. And Burns is like, yes, I now think that hell is a pocket edition of Chicago.
Jeez.
And you know, that anecdote in some ways informs the kind of spirit of the sort of work that I do. So